Hey, what's up lawn care nuts? Thanks for coming back for yet another week. So today's video, I'm actually filming this on Wednesday, August 10th. By the time you guys see this on Saturday, I will be out having a weekend with the boys. Now when you're me, a weekend with the boys means you've got 3 of your best buddies in town, so you're gonna shoot some really cool videos for YouTube, because that's what we do. This is like one of the most peaceful places, isn't it, Steve?
It is. It's so chill, I can't believe it.
So that's why I'm shooting early this week, because I still want to get a video out, and it's one that I think is pretty important right now considering all the stuff we've been doing lately with the St. Augustine grow over there. Speaking of that, let's go get a quick update. Alright, so this is the area that got blindside here. I mean, you can see the brown spots. That's nuts edge. Dead, dead, dead. It was dead in the last video, so that's nothing new really. And then as we come over here, this is our magnolia divider, so that's all blindside over there. As you guys remember, I'm trying to keep the camera angles the same too. And over here, this is the Celsius side. So as of today, this is 10 days after application, and the Celsius has begun to kick in pretty nice. Definitely got heavy-handed there. Freaking zorched whatever that was. But in areas where I just got a normal application, you can see the kind of yellowing? I don't know if you can see that, but there's like this yellow streak. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but there's these yellowy streaks all through here. That is dying doveweed. Now on the flip side, the blind side's been doing well ever since. By the way, I have some Bermuda coming in right there. Nasty. Looks to me like the blind side is kind of done doing its deal. What I'm getting at here, and again, it's still a little too early to tell, is that it seems like the blind side comes out of the gates fast and packs a real wallop, but then just falls off quick. Whereas Celsius seems to come on slow, but when it does come on, it comes on really strong, and maybe for the longer haul. We'll keep messing with it, see what we can do. Maybe we'll find a way to combine the two back to back at some point here. Also, we can't forget about Frankenlawn, right? Look at him. Now, one thing I neglected to mention, it's pertinent over there too, is that we have had 9 days of straight rain, and the last 6 of those have been heavy downpours. So I haven't been able to mow in over 10 days, and you can see the Bermuda. So anyway, let's get back to this video, and that is, again, understanding how to apply liquid product with a hand can and understand how much you're putting down, how much per square foot, how much do I mix per gallon, etc., etc., etc. And for that, let's go inside to the studio and let's do a little bit of reading and a little bit of math. I did blindside versus Celsius, and we sprayed the St. Augustine grow. Our main target pest at that point was doveweed. Also, we're looking at some other broadleaf weeds, and then we have some sedge in there. But a couple of you questioned the mix rate that I was running and even thought that maybe I used a little bit too much on the Celsius. So that means then I need to probably clarify a few things for you guys and shed a little bit of light on how we know how much we're putting down when it comes to blanket spraying a granular with a hand can. So we're going to go ahead and use Celsius just as our example here. This is actually an unopened one, but we're going to go ahead and use this as an example, and I'm going to show you a couple things. And the first thing that we need to look at is what's called the label. So I don't know if you're aware, but see, this is the label, right? Now you have some stuff that's on the outside of the label. Primarily, it's going to tell you the active ingredients that are in this. But what you can do is open this up. Always use the cup, the fill cup that comes with the product. This here is actually water dispersible granule. By the way, lawn products come in several different formulations. You have granule, you have pellets, you have water dispersible granule, you have wettable powders, you have liquids. This here is a water dispersible granule, also called a dry flowable. But anyway, that's not what we're really talking about today. You guys know you have to mix this with water, I hope. And the reason that you want to use the fill cup that comes with it, they don't all come with it, but a good majority, especially dry flowables, they will come with their own measuring cup. And that is because the granule size is a little bit different for every product. And so when they tell you, you know, you need 0.18 ounces of the product, you need to make sure that you're measuring it in a cup that was provided and that is made for that granule size. 0.18 ounces of one product may not equal 0.18 ounces of another product in that particular cup. Pretty cool, right? It's like a little hidden booklet. So there'll always be some left on the bottle. That's by law, I think. I'm pretty sure it's by law that they have to have certain things permanently attached to the bottle. Somebody can let me know that for sure. But anyway, here is the actual label. Now, the first thing I'll tell you is Don't open up a label online and read that. Read the actual label on the product that you're using, because I've seen where formulations change over time, and so the label changes, and then that can change the rates that you put it down at, all kinds of different things. They also have spiked versions sometimes that look the same. So again, use the label that is on the product that you bought. Of course, you should read the whole label because it tells you about safety precautions and storage and re-entry periods and all kinds of other things. But what we really want to look for are the use rates. And then from there, we can kind of calculate what we're going to do for our particular situation. The other thing is some of these do have calendar year use restrictions. In other words, an active ingredient, you can only put so much of it down in a calendar year. So while you might need, say, 3 apps to kill something, if you've exceeded the labeled amount of active ingredient for the year, you can't do another application of that product. You'll have to choose something else. This product has a bunch of different mix rates depending what weeds you're going after and that kind of thing. So we're going to find the weed that we're looking for, and that is doveweed at 0.113 ounces per 1,000 square feet. So there are 2 pieces of information that you need here with this particular dry flowable, and that is you need to know how much product to use for 1,000 square feet. Now you guys will remember I've said almost everything we do is measured in 1,000 square foot increments, and that holds true in this case too. So for me to control doveweed, which is the highest concentration of this product, I need 0.113 ounces of Celsius to go across 1,000 square feet. But if you remember, I treated a little bit larger area of my lawn, and in fact I treated an area, if you remember, from the magnolia tree over and down along the side, which is about 2,800 square feet. We're going to call it 3,000 just to make my math easy here. So in that case then, if I'm going to spray 3,000 square feet and I'm going to blanket it, I need 0.113 ounces of this product per 1,000. So I multiply that times 3, and to round it, I get 0.34 ounces of product to be used to treat my 3,000 square foot area. And there just so happens to be a mark here because they realize that's pretty common. And the mark here is for 0.34 ounces. So then the next question that you have is, well, how much water do I need for that? Do I need 3 gallons, 2 gallons, 10 gallons? What do I need? So you can deliver that in many different ways. If you had a large truck-mounted spray system, you're going to be able to cover a lot more ground a lot faster. So you're going to need a lot more water to make sure that you get really good coverage. And that's why one of the reasons why professional spray units can do a little bit better when it comes to weed control, because they can put down a massive amount really quick. With a hand can, we got to walk a lot slower because our gallons per minute coming out of the end of the nozzle is a lot slower. It's a lot thinner. It's a lot more of a mist, and that's going to take a little bit longer, so we have to walk slower. So the next key then would be to figure out, well, how much water do we want to use to put this down? And this is where you can be logical. But before you can even be logical about it, the first thing you have to do is figure out how much liquid does my sprayer put out in 1 minute, because then that goes into walking speed and coverage. So let's go outside right now and let's do what's called a bucket test with my hand can, and let's see how much I'm putting out in 1 minute. Alright guys, so here's the basic premise of a bucket test. What you need to do is find out how many gallons per minute is my particular spray equipment putting out. And the way you do that is you just basically turn it on for a period of time and see how much water comes out, and then you can do a little bit of math from there. So because I don't want to sit here forever, I've decided to make the 2-quart mark my aim. So I'm going to go ahead and see how long it takes to spray out 2 quarts of liquid into a bucket. And then from there, all I have to do is multiply times 2, and I'll know how long it takes to spray out 1 full gallon. See here we've come in at 2 quarts, took 2 minutes and 54 seconds to spray out. So to make my math easy, as I always say, we're going to make that 3 minutes. Then that means it takes 6 minutes to spray out 1 full gallon of liquid from my hand can.
I don't mind this.
I love it. All right, Waffle House.
Very St. Pete.
Waffle House.
It's a good thing that Brian wore his off-road hiking shoes here to the beach. Alright guys, so I am back. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm actually a little tired. I'm not even using this. This is just a prop right now. Okay, so I want to go ahead and finish this video up. I think I probably got carried away with the artistic license a little bit. Where are we at? We finally know all the pieces of information that we need to know in order to make sure that our hand can is calibrated properly. Remember, we know exactly how much of our dry flowable product we need, which in this case, Celsius, we need 0.34 ounces of product to cover 3,000 square feet. Because remember, our high use rate is 0.113 ounces of product for 1,000 square feet. I've got 3,000 that I'm spraying, 2,800, 3,000 to make my math easy. So that means that I'm gonna need to put down 0.34 ounces of this product across that 3,000 square feet. The equipment that I'm using, which is this Echo hand can here, puts out 1 gallon of liquid in 6 minutes. So there's a couple different ways you could do this. If you really wanted to, you could spray the entire 3,000 square feet and use 1 gallon of liquid. You would just need to walk and cover completely that entire 3,000 square foot area in 6 minutes. Doesn't seem too difficult to do, but I can tell you it would be. You would not be able to get a really good consistent application, even though the amount of Celsius would be right, the coverage would just not be consistent. It would have to be put on just too thin. Because remember, when you're spraying weeds, you want to spray them until they are wet. The other thing to remember is to realize that a hand can is not really the ideal equipment to use when doing a blanket spray application, but it's really all that's available to you as a homeowner. So this is where I talk about using logic. The most logical way to spray would be 1 gallon of liquid for every 1,000 square feet, meaning it would take me 18 minutes to cover my 3,000 square feet. And that's why you see me walking so slow, but what that slow walk speed does allow me to do is pay attention and make sure that I'm getting everything covered. Use marking dye, by the way, if you do have a doubt about that. But secondly, what it does is it allows me to make sure that I have enough liquid to put out to spray the weeds until wet, especially the doveweed that I've got that's in a mature state. I need to make sure that it gets really good and wet. So there you go. There's a lot of good information today. I hope that has helped you. I hope I haven't gotten carried away too much with this video.
You know what I mean? Just show up. I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for joining me, and as always, I'll see you in the lawn.
Allá en Cupe Alto y lo Mejía en Vega Baja. ¡Que gocen! ¡Sí! Bomba, bomba, para siempre. Bomba, bomba, está presente.
Thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And I'll go ahead and put the social links of my buddies here. They're all YouTubers and social media gurus in their own right. I'll put their links in the description below. As always, thanks for joining me. Here's a little bit of a sunset straight from Treasure Island Beach.